Hey guys, good evening. Welcome back. This is Donna Sharpe with Holistic Wellbeing. Thank you so much for joining me here on day 536, I believe. I want to thank you guys for your response on our photo shoot yesterday. I was really taken back by all of the responses, and that just warms my heart. If you don't know who I am your holistic and wellness life coach, and part of what I do is taken everything that I have learned and been taught over the past 30 something years to collectively gather all the expertise for you so that you can obtain some of the information that's necessary in order to live a whole life, a life of vitality. So yesterday we did a photo shoot, and I really wanted to introduce Miss Wendy Pearson to you guys because she is an up and coming business owner. And hello, Miss Wanda. Thank you for joining. She's an up-and-coming business owner, and I would love to have all of you support her as much as possible. She is the owner-operator for a natural hair line company as far as products. And you'll hear more about her as I move ahead, but I just wanted to be sure that I just incorporated her love and her passion that she is about to embark on, and make sure that I share them with you because you guys may very well be interested in supporting her. So that's what we did yesterday. We did a nice photo shoot. My daughter did an exceptional job on all of the faces. She is a makeup artist and a photographer, so she did everyone's faces yesterday. And following that, we did the shoot. We did some lovely pictures. As you know, my daughter is also a photographer, so we did the pictures for her website and some of the other great things. So, but the responses that I've been getting on the live that I did yesterday and when we sat by the water was just impeccable. I mean, I'm reading them and I'm just taking them in. And what was not surprising to me, but what I gathered from the whole thing is just the synergy and the energy that was created with the entire group of us. You know, it's easy when you have great energy, you're going to attract good energy. And that's not always the case. But hello, Miss Gabby, thank you for joining. When you have great energy, you'll attract great energy. That's not always the case. But what I will tell you, because of my gift of discernment, we just felt so good together. We functioned very well together. And the girls really enjoyed themselves, and we just laughed and we ate and we sat by the water. And it was just absolutely amazing. And what is just such a blessing to me is just to see the reception that you guys are feeling through the camera, through the lenses. So if you notice my post today, I said to you guys, and I can't reiterate exactly what I put, but I spoke about synergy and being able to have all of us come together as one, and making sure that we are not only attracting the best things around us, but the attraction is okay, but for people to actually stay in your lives and fulfill some of the goals that you have personally and be there in support of you is a very big thing. And so I want to thank you all for your receptiveness of this entire group. Miss Wendy, I'm sure she is ecstatic right now as far as being able to join ventures with new faces and new people. So again, I just wanted to thank you all for that. All right. So as you know, we're winding down from the book that I've been speaking from. Now, first of all, let me just tell you, can you just see how beautiful this is? I've done a few lives where I took you guys on a tour of the garden, and I showed you multiple things in the garden. And if you didn't get a chance to see that live, I'm going to encourage you to go back and take a look at it. But just some fabulous things. You know, we have Scotch bonnet pepper, rosemary, green pepper. I showed you the moringa tree. I also showed you a vegetable from our country, from Jamaica, and it's called the susumba. I gave you guys a little education on the susumba. Susumba is a very bitter vegetable, but it's so good because it helps to counteract any kind of diabetic problems that you may have. So if you never had susumba and you had it for the first time, you're gonna go, oh, this is just so bitter and so nasty. Remember, guys, as a holistic and wellness life coach, I'm gonna tell you anything that tastes good is typically not good for you. And if it don't taste good, then it's typically good for you, right? It's just the opposite. It's just the opposite. So I'm going to go ahead and share a little segment here. We're really winding down. I know I'm saying that over and over again, but we're winding down. But that's where I was going with this. I was trying to tell you, look how nice and pretty it is out here. You know, the leaves were blowing this morning. It was so cool this morning that the wind was rustling in the trees. And I'm going to post that because I think it was just such an amazing thing. But one of my greatest pastimes is spending time with my parents. And I have to tell you, I did some bricklaying today. I'm going to post some pictures with my dad. And we got downright and dirty. Okay, so I'm gonna post some pictures and show you me and my puppy in the lawn, in the garden, and it just warms my heart. That's one of my greatest pastimes, is spending time with him, going fishing with him, and just being there for my parents. Okay, so what I want to speak on tonight is called three-way partnership: communication, marriage, and guidance. Communication, marriage, and guidance. Those are the attributes that contributes to this particular section. As you know, that in this book, when they speak, they want to find out, based on the section, what is it that you're going to end up taking away and drawing from. And that's where we mention the communication, the marriage, and guidance. So as I read, you'll understand how to tie those things in. And as you know, I mentioned to you that communication is like a top-notch attribute. Just about every section that I've read from the past week and a half, communication was at the head of all of it, right? Because it's so vital when it comes to just anything that we do in life, whether it's our business, our personal life, our children's life. It's super, super imperative. So it says here that raising children is an important and difficult business, important and difficult enough for parents that needs all the help that they can get. You know, a lot of people have children, especially these youngsters, and they're like, oh, I'm going to have a baby. This is great. This is wonderful. And then they get into it and they say, oh, Jesus, this is really a job. And it's really a job because until the age of 18, you end up spending how much $1 million. Look it up. They'll tell you. The dollar amount is incredible. But guess what? The rewards are also very beneficial, right? I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. Anything. And as you can see, you saw some pictures yesterday of my daughter there. She was the one with all the hair. The 2-3 hours that it takes to get that hair done, right? But children are absolutely amazing. When you pour into them and you give them the tidbits that you've learned throughout life and your wisdom, and you just watch them take it and run with it, it's so rewarding, right? So pour into them as much as you can. They need our love. They need our existence. They need our telling them do this and don't do that. They really, really need that. So don't think that you're offering them too much help. When they push you away, then come at them even harder, because they think they know, but they really don't know, okay? Because I know I mentioned to you several times, when I did the live on the brain, I explained to you guys that a child's frontal lobe on their brain don't develop until the age of 25 years of age. So children that are 17, 18, 19, 20, and they feel like they're an adult, and the parents that are kicking out these kids and kicking these children out of the house when they're 18 and saying, oh my goodness, they're old enough, I just can't wait till they get out of my house. That just burns me like no tomorrow when people tell me that. You should never be in a rush to kick out your children. Excuse me, you should never be in a rush to kick out your children. Because number one, if you did not do your job as far as training them and growing them up to be prepared for the world, then you have no business trying to kick them out. And even if you have poured everything into them and you feel like they're mature enough and they're ready to go, you still can give them even more, right? So be patient with them. And a lot of the things that I spoke about from this book, specifically geared to how to pour into these children and teach them things that they can take away and mature into their adulthood and try for themselves with their own family, or create new ideas and new things, right? So here it talks about three-way partnership. It says, to those who believe in God or a higher power, it is logical to believe that the power also deems the welfare of children to be important enough to give sight and guidance to parents who ask for it. All right? Children are complex and have needs beyond the comprehension of even the most observant and analytical parents. Those who believe in God, it is interesting that so many who do call him Father generally believe that He knows our children better than we do. Because remember, God knows all the hair on our head, one strand at a time. So don't you think He knows what's coming? Don't you think He knows why we're in the present moment? Don't you think He knows why we enter situations that we necessarily didn't want to be a part of? Or sometimes He wants us in a situation and we're thinking, no, that's not the best thing for us. But He sees that by involving ourselves in certain things, where we're going to be in the future. You know, our God is so powerful. Don't ever second guess Him. Don't second guess Him. All right? And don't ever think that you can do things on your own, because when you do, that's when it backfires. All right? So it is extremely helpful to think of a child rearing as partnership enterprise, a partnership between earthly and heavenly parents, where the former can seek and receive help from the latter. I have to tell you a story. I don't know if you saw this online. There was a 25-year-old that had a out-of-body experience, okay? And he pretty much went to heaven, died, went to heaven, and came back. And he told about his experience in heaven. So much so that this young guy didn't know anything about heaven, didn't know a whole lot about Christ, but he was able to mention some things from the Bible that was unbeknownst to him, that the pastor ended up confirming. So if you've never seen that, look it up and just watch that testimonial. It's going to blow your mind. So remember, you can be a good person all you want in life. Some people say, oh my gosh, I'm just such a good person. God is going to love me because I'm a good person. God just don't love good person, right? There's a saying, everybody that cry Lord is not saved, is not a Christian, not a believer. They say it because they're living this superficial life, that they're a Christian and they attend church and they do this and they do that. But guess what? You have to follow through with it, because whatever it is that you do, you want to make sure that you have a back into it. You can't just put this. I speak to you guys all the time about putting on a mask. So many people, they put this mask on their face and they go about and they make everybody, they try to fool everybody and tell everybody, oh my gosh, I'm living this kind of a life. And then behind closed doors, they're doing something totally different. So I will tell you guys, you got to be very, very careful when it comes to locking your energy with certain people. Everybody is not for you. Unfortunately, everybody is in a realm right now where they're looking out for self. It's all about them. It's all about their gains and what they can get from it, and how well this is going to work for them. Not very often I find people that will come to me and say, you know what, Donna, I see you did 536 lives. What is it that I can do to help you today? Well, how can I help you? How can I be of service to you? I don't see a lot of that happening. And so what I try my best to do is I keep my circle very, very small, because I want to make sure that I'm dealing with very authentic people and not people that are going to be there to come steal, rob, and destroy my life. All right? So don't know where that came from. That was just a little excerpt and a nudge from God. So take it as it is. So listen, going back to the book, here we go. We like most parents pray about our children. In our cases, we try to pray together at night before going to bed. Now, this is coming directly from this gentleman by the name of Richard. There's a husband and wife in the book. And throughout the entire book, if you guys have been following me, you know that Richard and Linda Airy, they're the author of this book, and they speak along with their children. So sometimes you'll hear testimony from the children as well. And so this is coming from the spouse, Richard, right now. All right, so this is one of their little daily routine that they do that contributes to strong family with their children. So in our case, we try to pray together at night before going to bed. The usual pattern is that one of the other of us says the prayer out loud, and a spontaneous one in our own words. One night several years ago, Linda prayed and left out a couple of things. I was worried about it, so I said an additional prayer. She said she learned some things about what was on my mind and what I said in my prayer, and why didn't we each pray in turns each night. So she made that suggestion, right? Hello, Brad. Thank you for joining. Good evening. So this has evolved into where one of us start the prayer and end when we finish instead of closing. Squeezes the other hand and the other continues the same prayer and then closes. It has given us the feeling of three-way partnership, the two of us praying together to our managing partner who can help us go beyond our capacities. So basically, they and I spoke on this section before. I just wanted to kind of reiterate it because there is the family that basically prays together stays together. Not only that, the family that dines and wines together also stays together. I don't know how you do things at your house, but I'm going to encourage you that it's very important that you sit down and have dinner with your children and your family. Don't try to be on the run all the time when you're just getting up with the plate in your hand and you're rushing through the door. Sit down, have a nice dinner with your children, have conversations. As it mentions in here, establish and foster the communications necessary. In this section, particularly, it's strengthening the marriage and the guidance. And then whatever you do as a couple, your children are going to see that, and they're going to want the same thing when they grow up as well, right? So set that good example for them. So this little message here was from Richard, as I mentioned. So for those of you who pray, has less appeal, meditation, quiet, sober contemplation, both individually as a couple, as well as spoken, spontaneous sharing of the concerns can have some of the same results. So you pray together, you allow your children maybe to say a prayer by themselves. I know when I sit with my children, I typically will have us all pray. We don't start eating until we pray, okay? And a lot of times we'll wait for each other. And I don't do all the praying. You know, we make sure we do a round table and give them a chance to do the praying on their own, because what you're doing is establishing some good habits for them, because if they're not accustomed to it, until they actually do it is when they're going to feel at ease as it pertains to doing it themselves. If you're going to do stuff for them all the time and hold your hands, when they get older, they're not going to know how to do it themselves. They're going to feel handicapped. So give them the leeway to do it and trust them when they do it. It's the same goes with your spouse. When they do it, let them do it. Don't worry about if they get it right or wrong, or how they do it, or if they sit a certain way, or if they tilt their head a certain way. No, don't worry about none of that. Make sure you just allow them leg room to do whatever it is that they would like to do. All right? So Linda is the spouse, and this after I do this, I'm going to close. We just heard from Richard. This is Linda. I'm going to read this section from Miss Linda so you guys can hear it. All right? She says, I had the privilege of hearing Mrs. Norman Vincent Pearl speak at an American Mothers Convention at the Waldorf Astoria in New York when our children were young. Much of what she said is now forgotten, but one example she gave has become a part of the fabric of our household. She said that when her children were small, she and her husband, when he was there, had a brief meeting with them just before they left for school. They read a short passage of inspiration together, sometimes just one verse from the Bible. Next, they talked together about their challenges for the day. Sometimes the child had a test or a parent had an important presentation. A family prayer ended in 10 minutes, meeting that specifically asked for help for each person with a special need. And it's okay to incorporate everyone in your prayer when you're praying. You know, when people ask you to pray for them, again, don't be fabricated and tell them, you know what, I'm going to pray for you, and then you forgot all about praying for them. And when you do pray for them, you're not sincere. Everybody can't pray for you. I'm telling you that right now. That's one thing I'm going to tell you. Don't ask just anybody to pray for you. So she said that sometimes they even synchronize your watches so that at the time a child was due to give a talk in her class or take a test, they could each say a prayer for the other one at the very moment. After picking this up and doing it in our family, even our children who are living overseas or at college know that they are getting a little extra help from home, as they mention in their letters. Specific dates and time of the events important in their lives. There is not a better way to bring a family unity together and help kids feel that they are involved with and in tune with helping each other. So what a great way to teach them when they're young, right? Whoop. What a great way to teach them when they're young. So I'm going to encourage you, start to establish a better relationship with your children. It doesn't matter how old they are, how young they are. The earlier you do it, the better, because they're going to grow up and appreciate who you are. As you can see, the time frame that we're living in right now, so many things are happening, and until you get your eyes open and get connected with it and figure out how to do your part from home, you will be able to assist them when they go out on the street. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys tonight. As if you're just joining me this evening and you missed the beginning of this live, I gave some warming spirit and receptiveness of you guys joining us on the live yesterday as we did the photo shoot with this young lady, Miss Wendy Pearson. Miss Wendy, You're going to do a phenomenal job. I'll continue to seek some help for you and seek some people that are interested in your products. So I wanted to sit here again, just bask in the great outdoors and just be grateful and thankful to God for all that He has done for me and my family. And I'm grateful for what He has done for all of you. As always, I thank you for your support. If you felt this live was beneficial to you, please share it with someone in your circle, because maybe you weren't ready for this information today, but someone else was. So let's not be selfish. Share it with them. And it's like when you're going to church and the pastor preach something and you hear him and you say, oh my goodness, how did he know? Was he in my head last night? Did he understand? That's because God has a way of lining things up appropriately whenever you are ready and whenever He sees the need. So He doesn't line it up until He knows that you're ready. So I wanted to share this wonderful outdoors with you, and just the natural elements of life. As you can hear, there's a lawnmower running, there was an air-conditioned vent going, and now you can hear the dog barking, right? So just love it. Just love it. Try not to just live your life where everything has to be ultimately perfect. Just sit, bask, embrace what you're feeling. Whatever it is that you're feeling, don't turn it away. Just embrace it, because that's probably where you need to be for that given moment. All right? So guys, if you love what you saw tonight, don't give me no thumbs up. Please, I don't like the thumbs up. It's too dry. Okay? Just put your finger on the thumb, slide up, and when you slide up, you'll see all the other icons you can select, and there's a love button there. So select the love button. All right? So until tomorrow, I believe today was 536 of me doing these lives. As you know, I've began to do these lives now on my fan page, which is right exactly where you are. If you wanted to see some previous lives and some things that I've spoke on in the past, feel free to go back to my personal page. They're all titled, so you can't miss anything, and maybe there's something that resonates in your spirit that you need to meditate on at a given time, and just click on it and watch the live and just see where God's going to take you with it. All right? So I will see you guys back again here tomorrow. What is tomorrow? Tuesday? And I'm going to try to come back out in the great outdoors, because you guys know how much I love that. Mr. Brad, thank you so much for joining. Wanda, thank you for joining. Anyone else that logs on later on, before you type replay and make a comment, please watch the entire live first. But most of all, I want to encourage you guys to go to my website. It's holisticwellbeing.com. It's spelled with a W, WHOLELISTIC, wellbeing.com. And there you will find out why I am so passionate about what I do. So we have some great things to come. Great things to come. You know, one thing I'm going to tell you guys before I leave, that our Lord never rushes things. He is always right on time. So if you ever feel that a goal that you have set has not come to fruition, it's because God is not ready for you to transform to that next direction. So I thank you guys for following me. I thank you for all your support, and I will see you back here again tomorrow. Until then, please know that I care about you. I want you guys to stay safe. I am always praying for every single viewer that I have on, because I know that God has an ultimate purpose for many of you. But you have to first believe in yourself before God will take you to the next level. All right? So if no one told you they care, I do. Miss Gabby, thank you for joining as well. And I love you guys, and I will see you guys back again here tomorrow. Ciao, and have a fantastic rest of your evening. Take care.